talking to the kids in the room, you know, new generation, who need to kind of know what this story is really about.
Well, I remember seeing She's Gotta Have It. I was a junior in college when I saw it, and it was the first time I had seen this image of a young black woman who at the time was sort of close to my age, who was just a free spirit, who was living life her way on her terms. And it was funny, and Nola was amazing, and these three men that she had a relationship with were quirky and interesting, and I laughed, and I feel like it really sort of, you know, almost, I don't want to say it gave me permission to be who I am and who I wanted to be, but it certainly showed me that a woman could be. And so I just thought it was really funny and just revolutionary at the time.
And the movie really challenged a lot about what it meant to be an empowered woman, to a truly empowered woman.
Oh yeah.
Self-empowered, as a matter of fact.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, she is self-empowered, and again, living on her terms. And these men that she dated had to deal with that if they wanted to be with Nola. You know, they couldn't, you know, she was dating three men, and she was open about that. And, you know, no one man was gonna lock her down. And I know, you know, DeWanda can speak to who Nola really is today, but that's who she was back then. And then really thinking about She's Gotta Have It and bringing it forward today. I mean, I did say to Spike, I said, especially, you know, there was a time a few years ago, he was talking about gentrification in Brooklyn. And, you know, he was very passionate about feeling like people moving to Fort Greene and sort of just moving in and taking it over and not really respecting the people who had been there. And that was one of the things too about She's Gotta Have It. You got to see a Brooklyn that and a place that you never really saw before. And I tease Spike now, you know, that because he did that, he made Brooklyn look so hip that everybody wanted to come.
It's his fault. He started it.
Exactly. And so now, you know, but when he was talking about gentrification, I said, well, you know, and I'm big into, honey, you don't really have to always talk about it. Why don't you just put it in your work, you know? And not that he doesn't already do that, but I thought She's Gotta Have It was to bring it today would be a great opportunity to talk about and show what gentrification in Brooklyn really looks like, and at the same time re-examine what a 2017 empowered black woman really is. And that's what we wanted to do with the series.
So Brooklyn was a character in the original movie, and Brooklyn is still a character.
Big time.
Big time. So the movie's done in 30-minute segments, but my understanding is that you have still approached it like a movie. What does that mean from a production standpoint?
Well, I think first of all, if anybody knows Spike, I mean, Spike is truly a filmmaker. And so I think for him, looking at doing a series is really thinking about it as a film. And yes, it's told in 10 parts, but it really does feel almost like a 10-part film. I mean, first of all, the way it's shot, it is beautiful. Daniel Patterson did a beautiful job with the cinematography. The music is deeply embedded in the series, and it just really flows, I think, like a film.
So, DeWanda, who is Nola Darling, and who are these dudes?
I think what's invigorating and exciting about, you know, taking a film and making it into a TV show, the adaptation is like, how do you flesh this out, you know, and where's the drama? And something that the major difference, there are many, but the major difference for me is, you know, Nola in the original film was pretty established. She was an established artist, you know, she was very like, I don't want to say she was set, but part of her, you know, self-assurance was in the stability, her artistic stability. And my Nola does not have that. She's a struggling artist in Brooklyn, and now it's, you know, Brooklyn's a different place, so it's gentrified, very expensive Brooklyn. And so I find that, you know, part of her journey, I can say for season 1, is about, as we all know, how difficult it is not only to like be free, but to, especially as a woman, especially as a black woman, but to retain that freedom and that sense of freedom, you know. And so it's that battle, and you just see this kind of, you know, conflict from all sides, from whether it's the men or friends or, you know, her side hustles, and all those things that really like pull it to the present and made it really exciting to play.
So how did Netflix become the platform for this project? And let me just say something. I'm a big fan, Tonya knows this already, of Luke Cage. So, but the common thread I see between what I expect to happen with this series and Luke Cage and Daredevil, they're about different neighborhoods of New York or areas of New York, and those places are absolute characters in the movie. So if I'm a Brooklynite, what should I expect? How do you expect me to respond to what I'm going to see in the series?
Well, I think if you're a Brooklynite, I think you're going to be excited to see your neighborhood on screen. I mean, I think there's a real sense of what Fort Greene really is today. And Dumbo a little bit, but really you get a sense of the neighborhood, a sense of the characters, a sense of what it's like to deal with sort of these clashing people coming together.
I was gonna say, especially if you're from Brooklyn, you're gonna have this interesting insider's viewpoint, and things are gonna amuse you that like other people won't necessarily pick up on. You're gonna be like, "Yep, that's true." You know.
And how did the Netflix partnership come about?
You know, it's interesting. Netflix is truly a place that cares and supports its filmmakers, and really is about working with visionary filmmakers and people who come to them with an idea and they have a vision for it. And you know, I will say we did shop it around to a couple of other places, but Netflix really, they got it and said, Spike, go make your series, do what you want to do, and we're tremendously supportive, and I think it really is the right home for him.
So DeWanda, this is Spike.
Yes.
You know, he doesn't actually have a low bar.
Right.
He has a high bar.
Right.
And we talked a little bit about people being invested in this project, but a big part of that is a Spike Lee joint. You got to bring the A game.
Totally.
So how did you feel, and what did that mean to you?
Wait, can I just interrupt for one
Yes,
second?
please interrupt.
Because I just have to say, we saw DeWanda's audition tape, right? And we've been looking for Nola. It took a minute, and we would cast out wide. And I remember seeing the audition, which I wish people could see.
I still have it on my desktop.
I mean, it was so great, and it's one of those times when from the moment you see what she did, Spike, myself, the executives at Netflix, we were all like, oh, that's our Nola.
Wow.
Immediately.
I will piggy off of that. You know, a part of our show that was a part of the original is the confessionals, and it was a self-tape. I was working on Underground in Savannah at the time, which also is in my answer in a moment.
Okay.
But I decided to do my confessional as like a selfie video in my bed. So I'm just in my bed, you know, making sure I look cute under the light. And my hair was twisted down so that my fro could be popping when I filmed it the next day. And so it was like, oh, here's a 2017. Like, you know, I'm really very specific about my work, and I love authenticity. And so that was the beginning, like the opening of my my personal audition tape, which is kind of crazy and bold and ridiculous to do. So I don't really recommend everybody doing that. But you know, but it worked. It worked.
Hey.
But I didn't have time to think about it. I was working on Underground in Savannah, and this appointment came in, and the overlap, when I tell you they had to push production a week, She's Gotta Have It had to push production a week, and you know, I was just thankful that, you know, by then I had played 2 Brooklynites, one in a play, and one in a film that Spike and Tonya saw, called How to Tell Your Douchebag. And so I'd done my like Brooklyn research.
Where are you from?
I'm from Baltimore.
That's kind of Brooklyn South.
Yeah, you know, we got those northeast cities. So I was urban studies major as well. So I knew, you know, I had a lot of, you know, nuances, because normally when I get a role, I need some months, like I need some time to like prepare. And this one, you know, I didn't have that normal amount of time, and so I didn't really have time even to get nervous or to get intimidated or to be like, oh my God, this is Spike Lee. I was just like, what are we doing? Where's my mark? Okay, got it, let's go. You know?
So suppose you're not from Brooklyn, which most people aren't. I feel bad for them, but sorry. what about this story? What about the sensibilities? Does someone from anywhere look to, and can they expect as part of the audience for this show, whether they're here in another country, really? I mean, anywhere. What is the universal thing you think really makes this show happen? Even though I know you're targeting a certain audience of women, but
yeah, well, I would say, as DeWanda said, I mean, it's here's a young woman who's on her hustle, trying to make it in a really expensive urban community. I think, and so that's universal. And I think the characters, all of them, are, trying to figure it out in a really interesting, culturally rich place. And I think Brooklyn in of itself, I mean, there's just something really special about Brooklyn that to me is exciting. I mean, when I think about it, I think about the colors, I think about the characters, I think about the authenticity, just the realness of who these people are and day to day trying to live, trying to make it. And I think that's appealing to all people.
Yeah. I mean, I think, it's about the pursuit. This project, I've watched it already. It's a love letter to artists. And there's so much about it that's universal. I mean, one, let's talk about it. Gentrification is universal at this point.
This is true.
Like feeling like, you live in a place, you grew up in a place, and you come back, and it's completely different from the place that you knew. So, there's a lot, and I anticipate that there will be a lot of, divisions. There's definitely going to be some Team Mars, some Team Greers, and some Team Jamies up in the
And I remain Team Nola.
Hey!
Well, speaking of that,